today we have the continuation of my 19 teens project, wardrobe building, capsule wardrobe, hellscape of my own creation. Please get me out of it. I cannot wait to actually have a life again. By the way, everyone's comments from the hair gel video, like being there for me and saying like, you know, we're here for you. Or like someone even says she kind of got teared up like when at the very end when I'm talking about how stressed I am. I really appreciate it. I am very stressed. That I cannot lie about that, but it is also a hell of my own making and I don't have to be doing what I'm doing. Don't feel too bad for me because this is 110% my own hellscape that I'm in.
It's not your fault.
I do have plans in motion to kind of make my life a little bit easier. I'm making these clothes for a trip that I'm going on in October. And I'm traveling with Nicole from Southampton, London to New York City with Ahoy Vintage Cruises in Cunard. And it's hosted essentially by Dandy Wellington. That's why we're going, is because I've been friends with Dandy for years now, and I 110% support that guy. When this cruise came up, Nicole and I were like, hell yeah, let's go. I think there are still tickets available if you would like to go yourself. It's a vintage cruise. Nicole is doing 1920s, as I'm sure a lot of you all are aware. I'm doing 19 teens. I've talked about this before. On the cruise itself, there are actually full-on like black tie evening affairs. And you know that like your girl, like she can't just show up looking bad. I'm traveling with Nicole Rudolph, for Christ's sakes. Like I just can't do it, right? So I need to have 3 formal looks and then 3 smart looks. What if I made one formal skirt that's like has a train, and then I make tops to go with it and I accessorize it in such a way that I can basically create 3 formal looks out of 1 formal evening skirt. So the pattern that I'm using is the Florence skirt pattern from Silk and Thimbles. So when you look at the pattern that they offer, there's like 4 or 5 different variations that you can pick from, but one of them actually has a train. I'm like, hot diggity damn, that looks really cool. Then I was looking at it closer when I was actually starting to cut out the pattern and I realized there's a flounce, an optional flounce. And then my little like devious pea brain went, I like that laugh. What if I make that flounce detachable? We're going to be building a 19 teens evening skirt using this original pattern, and all the trial and tribulations you're going to watch, have at it. Spoiler alerts, I did not, in this video, we will not see the flounces in use. I had to kind of put a pause on that simply because I had something else come up. Indiana Fashion Week on that Saturday was the like big VIP event and the fashion show. I was invited to attend as like an influencer, which is kind of weird, but I understand I wasn't gonna show up and not follow the assignment to a T. This formal skirt that I like need to make for the cruise, what if I made this and wore it to Indiana Fashion Week? Are you someone who likes to remove body hair? Because if you are, I would like to recommend to you guys Harry's Razors. Now don't let this person shaving their face fool you. Harry's Razors is for everyone. It doesn't matter who you are or how you identify. A good razor is a good razor. Who would have thought the color pink would cost so much more money? Anyways, the point is Harry's Razors is for anyone. It's unisex and it's high quality razors for a great shave if you are someone who is into the removal of body hair. Harry's actually custom makes their razors in Germany, which is one of the reasons why they're able to keep the prices so low and the quality of the razors so very high. With inflation nowadays, ouch. Because they keep their prices fair, it doesn't mean they have to keep stuff boring. So they've just launched new handles. So if you're someone who likes shiny color stuff, they have a few different options for you to pick from. In the starter set, you actually get yourself a razor with a blade, and it is a 5-blade razor, bam. A travel case, which is super handy, and then also a really tiny thing of shave foam. It also does have stuff in it like aloe and hyaluronic acid, and you know, hyaluronic acid is like one of my favorite things in the whole world, so it's good stuff right here. If you want to give the starter set a try, if you use my link in the description below at www.harrys.com/abbycox, you can get your starter shave set for only $3, which that's really cheap. And with that, let's get back to some 19 teens dressmaking. All right, so the first thing you gotta do with a single size pattern is you gotta size it up. Since I only need to add width to this and not length, I just did it one way, super straightforward. But then it comes to the biggest mistake I made on this skirt, and that is the facings for the turn back of the back of the skirt. So this needs turn backs. You'll see in a little bit, and I wanted to make them out of the white instead of the black. I thought I followed the instructions clearly on the pattern. I obviously made some terrible life choices, and we're watching it right now. Bad life choices, didn't make it big enough, meltdown coming soon. But the foundation skirt's pretty straightforward. It's a basic A-line skirt, couple of darts, easy side seams, just pin it up, stitch it up, no problem. Overall, this pattern is actually pretty straightforward to make. The overskirt in the back can be a little tricky, but foundation skirt's really easy. As you guys can see, I am stitching over my pins. I do not want to hear in the comments. I know you all do it anyways. You all who act like you don't do it are liars, and your pants, they are on fire. I can smell the sulfur from over here. The placket, I didn't do anything special. I just folded both sides back, a quarter of an inch, stitched it up. Now with 19 teen skirts, the most indicative part of them, in my opinion, with the construction is this 2-inch or wider Petersham belt that you anchor everything off of, basically. Just sharing some thoughts. This is like the third thing that I've made using a antique sewing pattern with only antique sewing instructions and no attempt at trying to like put it into modern English. I think a lot of people go, oh, it's meant for advanced sewists or intermediate sewists. As I'm sewing these things, it's kind of yes, kind of no. Honestly, like part of me almost feels like a beginner sewist or someone who's like sewed a few things and is kind of ready to jump out there. It might not be bad to actually like start using these patterns so long as you're willing to look at the instructions. And like the instructions are literally going to be like 2 pages max with pictures. It's not the same as reading modern day Simplicity and McCall sewing patterns, but I honestly don't even know if that is technically a bad thing. Like if you're working on a historic Butterick pattern or something from like Delineator, it's right there, and honestly the instructions work for decades and any sort of pattern company. But I honestly feel like these patterns are just really intuitive. Honestly, it just feels like a puzzle. So like if you're someone who's really into puzzles, I feel like you might really like these patterns because there's a lot more it forces you to think about it. I'm attaching the underskirt to the belt of this evening skirt as you guys are watching, and everything's lining up except the skirt is bigger in the back half than it is in the front half, and so I'm having to gather up the back section of the skirt to fit into the belt. They don't need to tell me that. I figured it out. It's very obvious.
And that's the tea.
Alright, so after making the foundation skirt, it's time to cut out the overskirt and the back of the skirt. This huge piece you're seeing is the overskirt. This piece is actually the back of the skirt, including the very cool, very 19 teens train. The back of the skirt, including the train and the overskirt, are actually 2 separate pieces, and the back of the skirt is put over top of the overskirt. It can be a bit confusing since they're the same fabric, but they're separate. Skirt's good. Oh god, that was like the worst sound in the world. Teen skirts, they give you so much length for the hem. That way you can have it longer, you can have it shorter, and I have really short legs. We've been hacking off like 6-7+ inches just to kind of get them up at a length that I think is flattering, that I think is fun and like easy to move around in. I have cut out the front half of the overskirt, and I need to prep the side opening slit. I'm using an original skirt that I have for like a reference. I still need to add snaps to the white skirt as well. Obviously I have the hooks, but I don't have the snaps. The goal for today is to probably get it hemmed. Check that out. That's not bad. I dig it. Alright, so once the seams for the back of the skirt were sewn up, I needed to work on the interior of it, doing the turn backs as well as the facing. I'm marking the facing here to kind of know where it's supposed to go and just flipping it over and hand stitching it down into place. I did face the train in the same material as the outer fabric, so that way when it flipped over it looked the same. And then I had to go in and carefully hand stitch down the facings in white, which sucked. I've pinned it kind of in place because I'm like, okay, well there's my placket And then I have a mild bit of overlap there, so that should be enough for me to put like a snap or a hook, an eye there. And then for this side, I just have kind of pulled it taut, like so. And then I just like have this obviously pinned. Maybe this needs to come over a little bit more because now this is feeling a bit too, that's not like, so I don't know. It told me to do facing 4 inches. I did the facing of 4 inches. You can still see the other side. And I guess if you were just matching it, it wouldn't be that noticeable, but since I did contrasting, it's super f***ing obvious. And so it looks like super if I was only wearing this on the cruise and you know, I knew the lighting was going to be darker and stuff like that, like I wouldn't be as stressed. But since I've decided to wear this to the Indiana Fashion Week, like red carpet thing, and that's going to be bright lights, HD cameras, stuff like that, and also just my own like brain, I just can't. The piecing just is super visible, and even though I felt it, it's just, it is the next day. I had Rico came over, she brought me cookies, I had a bit of a meltdown, and then I was able to cut out and stitch up one side. It worked. Currently I am stitching up the other side. This is actually what the new pattern piece looks like. I've stitched it and then I understitched it, and now I've pressed the seam allowance over, and now I'm just gonna pin that into place because there is a point down here where I end up having to take a tuck, even though it's supposed to be the same size, but you know, stuff on the biases stretches. This is reattached, then I have to reattach the bit that I picked out, and then I need to go in and like reinforce everything around the belt. And finally, I need to add snaps and hooks and eyes to the opening. That's going to be done with the foundation skirt with its own, and then the outer skirt with its own. So they're going to be 2 separate sort of. Oh, here's kind of what I have come up with, is I'm gonna, here, which is where the facing is for the train, we are going to pin that up like so underneath here, and then you'll see there's a pin here, there's also a pin here, and then this is going to connect something under in the underskirt over there. And I might regret this decision, but my tentative plan is to use, these are size 3 hooks and eyes, to do the bustling here and here. So I just thought of something, and it might not be a problem, but if I step on this part, or someone steps on it, would it smush the hook? And then if the hook gets smushed, then I can't use it. Where the am I gonna go?
In the community smush room.
Ew. No. Because here's the deal, guys. If it gets on the cruise, that's what safety pins are for. It'd be better to put the hook on the foundation skirt and put the loop on the train, so then that is flush. Okay, so that's what we'll do. This is just one little hook, but like, look how cute that is. Now I could just do like plain satin covered buttons, but I mean, like, where's the fun in that? Okay, it's done. So that's the bustling. Just to use some velvet ribbon with the buttons there to kind of bring that up, and then they're hidden by the ripples here. So technically the skirt is finished. To make it better, I have to go in and kind of work with the belt a little bit. I think I'm just going to bring in the eyelets first for the belt, to the hooks and eyes, just to kind of tighten that up a little bit, because it's a scotch bigger than my actual waist in the corset, so I think that extra ease in there is actually causing some of the problems. We need a little bit more tension. It's Indiana Fashion Week. What? Indiana Fashion Week. We're gonna get dressed. We got into the hotel early. The event starts around 5:30, so we have a few hours to iron things, makeup, hair, eat, decompress, because Kenneth just flew. I picked her up from the airport like at noon. We drove here. It's been like a very chaotic morning. I think something with Uranus is happening in astrology land. I don't know, Chani Nicholas's like app was telling me like shit's going down. So anyways, we're here for the chaos. I got my hair done according to Jenny Marcel Wave tutorial.
You also already got a compliment on the whole outfit.
And I'm literally wearing a dirty shirt. I have a distinct feeling that we're gonna show up and everyone's gonna be like, I'm like, it said formal. I don't know what
People
you
are
all
gonna be
are.
like, what are either of you wearing? And we're gonna be like, this is fashion, baby.
All right, we're almost there. This is undergarment look, but I think she's a look. Like, I feel really cute like this, even though I'm not one to like show my upper arms. We're not wearing this. This is my underwear, but just like, look.
All right.
Because it's like medieval light.
Medieval light.
You're doing fairy core.
You heard it here first, folks. Medieval light.
We didn't mean to cosplay.
It just happened accidentally.
It just happened.
Yeah. So Abby really likes these secret pants. Abby says she has too much pride to take off the shoes that are killing her feet right now, which is valid because they're real cute. But so how was it?
I loved it.
You had a good time?
Loved it. Like, genuinely. I loved the body inclusivity that we saw. Some designers are better than others. Some designers got some side eye. There were some designers who really designed
For the body.
for the body. I loved the community vibe of it. Like, I felt like I got invited to a family party,
Yeah, so much support.
and I was like, everyone here is so nice. Ooh, a pancake and steakhouse? Wow,
Hand steak.
Where are we right now? Oh, someone's backing us.
It's Charlie Brown's pancake
I
and
know.
steakhouse. This was really fun. It was a little bit more mainstream than the really indie stuff.
Yeah.
Some of it was wearable, some of it was not.
Yeah.
I really liked the stuff that, as Abby says, has an opinion.
Yes.
Whether or not I personally enjoy it or would wear it.
You agree with the opinion.
It's a look. The woman in the pleated black and white dress.
Yes.
That had the really colorful collection.
Yes, that was the great inclusivity one.
Yeah, the one that really, like, this, you designed this for these bodies, and it's
Yeah.
so
My
good.
favorite part of that was like her mom was there,
Yeah.
and like the person next to her was like, "How do you know her?" And she was like, "That's my daughter." And I like saw her mouth, and I was like, "Mommy!" It just made me feel feelings. Bye, pirate. I don't know. Maybe this will just become one of my looks for like the Dandy Cruise. If there was a pirate night, this would be it. My fabric choices were okay, but they really weren't the best. And in part, I realized, I didn't realize this until I was in the middle of making it, but the pattern was actually intended to be used with a mix of more medium weight fabrics to to lighter weight fabrics. I opted to use this crepe back satin from New York Designer Fabrics to make the entire thing, both in the black and the white. When I gathered up the overskirt, which is like just a huge piece, like let me tell you guys, like they just made the biggest freaking pattern pieces in the 19th century. Not even my cutting table, which is a massive cutting table, can really handle some of these patterns. When I made up the overskirt, I had to size everything up because the original pattern that I'm using, it's one size for a 26-inch waist. I am not a 26-inch waist. I haven't been that close in a very long time, and so I had to size it up to a 32-inch waist, which is 6 inches. It's sized up fine, actually sized up beautifully, but what I realized in making up the skirt is that the overskirt was huge. Abso-freaking-lutely huge, like more than 3 times the size of the skirt. I had to gather that overskirt up as tight as it would possibly go, and it still had like an inch of overlap. And I don't think it was supposed to. The way that I interpreted the original instructions is that the back actually wasn't supposed to touch, is that you're actually supposed to have space in the back. That did not happen with mine. I realized later is that that overskirt actually is supposed to be made out of a sheer or very lightweight material. So I actually went to Hathy Trust, which has all of the delineators of all time. It's free, by the way, so if you want to like look up delineator stuff, link below. And I was able to actually find the original pattern because Silk and Thimbles, what she does that I really like about her patterns is she doesn't add BS to it. You get the pattern, you get the original instructions, and then you get basically a transcribed version of the instructions so that it's a little bit easier to read. What I was able to see is that, oh, it clearly says in the pattern description in the Delineator magazine from October 1917 that that overskirt should be made out of like chiffon, georgette, maybe charmeuse or something like that, and it's supposed to be very lightweight and airy. They make a reference to a sheer fabric in the pattern itself, but they don't actually tell you specifically you should make this out of this fabric. 19 teens, that's kind of hit or miss. Some patterns I've seen have had fabric recommendations written on them, other ones do not. I guess they just assume that you bought it because you saw it in the magazine and then you ordered it from the magazine, so you would already know. But I did not do that. Yeah, it worked okay, it worked fine. It's just that overskirt was like a lot. My biggest issue with this skirt were the turnbacks on the back piece. The left hand side one still does not hang properly. It sucks. I'm kind of bummed about it, to be honest, even now, because that fabric's not cheap. And I really hate that I have this really expensive fabric and this really nice skirt. There's stuff about it that looks cheap. I don't like that. But there's really, my hands are tied. The only other option would be to order more fabric, which would cost me a lot more money, and then recut the whole thing, which is just not financially smart. So I just have to come to terms with it. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a really great time at Indie Fashion Week. Thanks again for inviting me. For the news channel that interviewed me, I am so sorry that I said corn beans and soy. I had a hard time hearing. Also, huge shout out to Stitchworks. If you guys don't know what Stitchworks is, I'll leave a link below. They were kind of like a sponsor for Indie Fashion Week, and they train people on industrial machines. They're located in Indianapolis. I'm really excited by what I witnessed at Indie Fashion Week, and I'm very much looking forward to going back again next year. Hopefully I'll have a little bit more early notice so I can kind of like start coming up with something more exciting to make for the big walk next time. Because, you know, I feel like I started like, you know, a tradition for myself. But with that, that's the end of this video. Corn beans checking out. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to keep hanging out with me and my corn beans. I post every other Sunday. And with that, guys, oh yeah, thanks to Harry's for sponsoring this video. And with that, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye. You look like a Babysitter Club from 1990.
Oh, I just need like a head ponytail.
Yeah. Babysitters Club, say hello to your friends. Babysitters Club, say hello to the people who care. Nothing's better than friends. Babysitters Club. Oh man.
I only read the books.
That show and that theme song came out actually in the 80s. Like, I was a baby when it came out, so it was like right at like peak